Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, happy Independence Day for those who celebrate it. You know, we had a long weekend, 4-day weekend, and now we are back to work. Those who are now tuning in and will be tuning in for the VOD, we welcome you to the stream. We are the Rarely Typical Players, also known as RTP podcast, where we play RPG Maker games, and after the end of the week, we come here every Wednesday at 2 o'clock and talk about that specific game. So the game that we have chosen, the wheel has chosen, is called MechGears, which is a action RPG with MMO key layouts for skills and abilities and items and stuff like that. So you guys already know the drill. You know, we are able to spend a whole week with a project and we play it. You know, we become one with it so we can understand it in and out. That way we can, you know, tell you guys about it and our experience. So before we get into the video, I would like to introduce my co-host. First, we have Synchronic Games, developer of Starship Origins, Starship Rebellion, and what was the other game? Oh Lord.
Starship Legacy.
Starship Legacy, that's right. Starship Legacy.
Hi. Good to be here.
Alright, and next we have the Dungeon Rummager with his titles known as Dungeon Rummage Isekai, Tiki Escape, and now the big hit Dungeon Rummage Origins. Oh, and don't forget Dungeon Rummage Rise of the Allies too. Harlequin.
Hey, what's up, guys? How is it going?
Alright, guys, so yeah, before we get into the game, you know, the meat and potatoes, I'm gonna give you a rundown of what the game is about. The game is about MechGears, an action RPG, optional you wish so, stealth system with gameplay and some of the settings inspired by the original Metal Gear Solid from the PS1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Ghost Babel Metal Gear Solid Self. An adventure crafted to a homage and at the same time parody of the series of games as the series story gets big side irony and dark humor. Join not so rookie mercenary girl Blood Snake Andy as she fights petty villains, greedy armies, strange creatures, and giant mechanical enemies as she is witness to the atrocities of war in puny named places, points out logic flaws, and faces moral dilemma that you can really care nothing about as battles are fought with bullets, wits, and lots of seriousness. All right, so the game brags on having a skill toolkit, items in the counters, and resource management like C4s and dynamites and grenades and all that stuff. So we're just gonna talk about what's this the story. Like what did we get out of the story without trying to give you guys too much of a spoiler and telling you everything that the demo is about. We just want to point out some key highlights that can probably get any player interested. So we're going to start with I think last week we started with Psychronic. We're going to start with the resident German, Mr. Harlequin.
We know. So the game as described takes inspiration from Metal Gear Solid. Like that's pretty much the only Metal Gear game I actually played because I'm not a big fan of stealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see it. Like there's a lot of similarities and it tries to be like that. I have not encountered any actual stealth elements yet because I ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
At first I stopped playing because my FPS went down to like 3 half the time on the main map, so I was like, I can't really play this. But I gave it another shot. Like I closed absolutely everything on my PC except for the game, and then it was borderline playable at least. So I gave it another shot for an hour, so I think I got like 2 hours in the game. Yeah, I like the premise of the game. I like the art style a lot, and I like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel the gameplay needs some work, as D7 would put it. Needs some work.
Need some more time in the oven, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's it for the general rundown for now.
Yeah.
There is some stealth elements, as far as I could tell in the demo, where you get to the part where you start encountering those soldiers, and then you have like that, that basically that attack that you can kill them in one hit, but you have to sneak up on them.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more of that, more of that because we could say that's related to the battle system, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
gotcha. As far as the general story and all that, it seems like it's a story of that there's zombies. They've really taken over pretty bad. The main character is immune for whatever reason, and and she kind of gets dropped in to, I guess, deal with all of these zombies,
Mm-hmm.
and has a sassy attitude, to boot. Basically, as you go along, you find out that there's more of a conspiracy going on, rather than just a naturally occurring zombie virus or something.
Yeah.
So I mean but the game kind of plays like, or tries to play like Metal Gear Solid, like, as and I see the parody aspect too, because there's some humor in it. It tries to be a little bit humorous.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. When I play this game, I actually think about uh, not even more of Metal Gear side, but Resident Evil. You know, you got the zombies, you got the zombie dogs, and then you got, the regular soldiers, who is basically like Umbrella. That's the research facility in the Resident Evil series, Umbrella. So
I could see that. Yeah.
the game,
I guess that kind of makes sense too. Yeah.
it actually, yeah. I mean, it could be both ways, but they went with is more towards the Metal Gear side because one, her name is Snake, given that, and two, she's more military prone, mercenary, where the Resident Evil, they were cops. They were mainly,
Yeah, no, and I mean Resident Evil doesn't really have like sneaking elements a lot, does it?
it technically do, because you could do double damage from like doing attacking from behind, or
Oh
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
sneak
yeah.
you
I
could
mean
sneak
like
past. But stealth wise,
the first Metal Gear, right?
yeah,
Like that game was like all about stealth,
yeah,
right? You
all
could
about
kill
stealth.
enemies, yeah, but the main objective was always like be undetected.
Yeah, but this,
And Resident Evil doesn't really have that.
yeah, basically the reason why I say this game too, because this whole game isn't about stealth either.
Yeah, I didn't see
You
any
know.
of it. Like maybe I stopped when I unlocked the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where the stealth starts. But until that point, like 2 hours in, there was no stealth so far.
Yeah, you get to the point. You get to the point where you have to stealth, and if you get caught, you're dead. You're dead. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, that's why I love stealth games, man. I just nah.
So, when people create games, and this is still on the story, guys, it's more shifting towards the dialogue why than actually giving out spoilers. And you gotta be careful when you label your game as a parody. We know parodies are comedy, right? Like there's going to be funny moments and stuff like that. In this game, the dialogue of the main character, it's like her dialogue, the way she speaks, is as if someone was actually on social media and typing, speaking to people on like the chat room and stuff. That's how the main character, the MC, sounds like, because there was instances where there was short shorthand conversation like AF, for example.
AF and FFS and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? Like, as
you don't use like what's it called, abbreviations or whatever, like shorting
abbreviations.
things on. Don't do that in dialogue, because that's what you do when you chat or when you Twitter or stuff like that. You don't actually say lol, and you don't actually say AF.
Exactly.
You say as fuck. You don't say AF in real life. Nobody does that. You'd be weird if you did.
Exactly.
So, yeah, always type it out in dialogue.
Yeah, type it out in the dialogue. I just felt like some people.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah.
Some people don't have the niche to be funny. Like, you really gotta nail it down, because if you making a reference to like a past game, and nowadays, people who grew up in the Metal Gear Solid community, I believe I was when Metal Gear, I had the demo like on PlayStation. We get demo disc. Like, you go to like the store and get like the demo disc from like magazines and stuff. You know what I mean? Metal Gear. It was Metal Gear. I believe Brave Fencer. and everything. And I think I was in the 7th grade. So that was pretty much like 1999, something like that. About 1999, 2000, if I'm not mistaken. But still, you know how long ago that was? You know, to even remember that game, and your game is going to be catering to the newer audience anyway. You know, so there's certain things that true fans may get and understand, like if you're trying to make a joke, but you're newer, if they never played they're not going to find it as funny. You know what I mean? So they were like, oh, this supposed to be a comedy game? That was lame. You know what I mean? Because they probably don't understand, or it probably ain't funny anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be like when this game is like finished in like, I don't know, a year or 2 or even longer, and you have references from like Metal Gear 1. These people weren't even alive back then.
Exactly.
They don't know anything about that game. That could be. I mean, I did get, I think, most of the references I did get, even though I'm totally not a Metal Gear fan.
Mhm.
Like I said, I only played the PS1 game and none other. So, but I still kind of got it when there was a reference, like when she said, "Oh, I always wanted to say that one line when she does the phone call." Like I did get it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I guess if there's younger people playing it and they have absolutely no idea, maybe they don't get it. But then again, like the target audience would probably be fans of that game, so they might still get it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure. Like it could work out, to be honest, in my opinion.
It could, but some people has to be careful. You got to be careful when it comes to, you know.
Yeah, don't lay it on too thick, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the feeling in this game, to be honest. Like I thought it was funny. Like aside from the FFS and the other shorts, I thought the character was pretty cool. Like it's just like a badass chick like gunning down some zombies. That's the feeling I had.
Yeah, she was bad. It's kind of like watching. You seen the movie Top Gun, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
All right, those.
But I know it's an action movie though.
Then they got Top Gun Part Deuce with the old man, where it's nothing but a parody of Top Gun. You know what I mean? Like it's like Top Gun was a serious movie. You know, like airplanes fighting. You know, whatever. Then you got Top Gun Part Deuce, which is the parody, and it's nothing but jokes and laughter and bloopers and stuff like that. The main character kind of reminded me of that. You know, you gotta question her intelligence, but at the same time, you know she's dangerous and she get down to business. You know what I mean? It just felt like the character was just going back and forth from, you know, you couldn't really get a grasp on the seriousness of the player, of the MC, the main character. You know, that was my struggle a little bit. You know, playing the game again, where during the time when I first played it, my critique was still elementary. You know, but now, you know, I got I look at games from a different light. I'm now seeing it. You know, this main character, I don't know, man. Like you try to speak of the times, like using the slang and the abbreviations and stuff, where everybody else around you is serious, but this character is just playing on goofy. You know what I mean?
But I mean, I've seen these types of characters. Like to me, it wasn't actually bad. Like the feeling I had of her is just like she's fucking reckless. Like there's always like this one character that just doesn't give a shit, right? They are always reckless. They're always joking around while everybody else is dying.
Yeah.
So the only problem I had is when she suddenly went serious, like, oh no, it's another dead guy. Why is nobody alive anymore?
Yeah.
That was a bit weird because all around she's reckless and she doesn't give a fuck. That's the initial feeling I had, right? And then all of a sudden she's like somehow affected by all the dead people she finds, which was a little bit weird. But overall, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't too jarring for me personally.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Si?
I thought that the character was a little kind of a jokester and a little bit, reckless. But I don't know. It didn't really it didn't really do it for me. Honestly, I kind of it's like it doesn't know whether it's a joke or trying to be serious. So I don't know. I would have rather that she was a little more serious, but that's just me.
Yeah, because you guys already know I'm a humorous guy. Now, I'm not going to say there's no parts in this game wasn't funny. I'm not going to say that. I'd be lying if I did. But, at the same time, it's just, you got to write them the right way. You know what I mean? Because not everybody's going to understand the joke. Like the abbreviation, we're not going to understand that.
Yeah, abbreviations just shouldn't be in there, period. Like, unless you're having a game that plays like within a game, just type it out.
Now, if you had a chat,
type it like you'd speak it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had an online chat like it was an MMO,
then of course.
Fine. I mean,
like the first version of Isekai, where you started inside of the game, that's where I used like the abbreviations because that's basically chat in there, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you'd use it. But that's not happening in this game. So yeah, always just type it out as you would speak it. But then again, it's like not really a big deal for me personally. Like I found it just weird. Like I like her comedy side a lot. Like I enjoy these types of characters that just don't give a shit and just joke around all day and just being badass, shooting people. I like these kinds of characters, but it's weird when she goes all serious all of a sudden for like no reason.
Exactly.
That was a bit weird. Like when you rescue that one soldier guy and and she pulls out her gun and tells him, if you get bitten, I gotta cure you. That was less joking. I mean, it was badass, but it didn't really fit the rest of the jokingly don't give a shit character I've experienced until then, right? And whenever you enter a building where you find like a dead guy, is always like she always thinks to herself like, why is everybody dead? Oh my god, not another dead guy. Like, why do you care? You didn't care until now. It was all fun and games until now. Why do you care all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So the writing needs a little more work to be like more consistent with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like for me that's a theme that draws through the entire game really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inconsistencies in design choices in there. So yeah. Guess we're gonna get to that soon enough.
Yeah. So without giving too much of the story, guys, those who are tuned in, the game is basically, you're a secret agent or a mercenary who pretty much was called on to check out an incident.
Distress signal, right?
Yeah, it's a zombie outbreak. So already, the funniest highlight was my starting gear sucks. Indicating that you are playing a video game. Like the MC already knows they're playing a video game.
Exactly. That's one of the parody elements they've spoken about.
So their starting gear sucks. They get to where they were going. You pretty much see the whole town riddled with zombies and dead people. So your first task is to find survivors. Upon finding survivors, you run into a weapons dealer who's with a special group. But it turned out they went on a mission, and they were told to separate. So upon separating, none of them returned. So it's your duty to go find them. So you go find them, you find some alive, you find some dead, and the show proved that you found the person. Like in real life, if you are in the military, you get a set of dog tags. That way, if you get killed in combat, they can identify you by your dog tags. So you go through little steps like that until you you go on like little missions, like search here, look for documents, look for files. It has your looting system where you could find like different items and weapons and stuff like that. So you basically uncover the truth of who's behind it, and you go after them. That's all I'm gonna say without giving too much. It definitely picks up story wise. The pacing to me is pretty good. Within not even an hour, you're on to you're gathering clues on who's behind this, and you may have an idea who's behind it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But with all games, there's going to be some features that we're not going to be a fan of. And you guys already know that when I play games, when I go live, when I stream my RPG Maker games, I always let you know what year we're in. And you got to accommodate, because everybody doesn't like to use a specific device to play games. And the device I'm talking about is a keyboard, guys. This game has no controller support, and it has no support for several reasons. Now, before we go into depth, I can say this game pretty much has one of the best tutorial systems on learning the controls, because there's actual videos behind the tutorial system, like real life video. But it's a boatload of information just being thrown at you if you're not.
I felt a little overloaded by the tutorials in the beginning, like too many at once, and I was like, oh, another tutorial, god damn it.
It is what it is. I'm pretty sure 99% of RPG games is gonna have some type of tutorial if there's like a unique system. Even if it's not unique, people throw tutorials in there anyway. To attack, hit the attack button. To defend, hit the defend button. To run, hit the escape button. They will still throw in a tutorial explaining that. If you don't know what attack or defend is, I don't think you need to be playing it. Now, if you defend and you get like magic points, or a state, where you become a super god, then probably tell your player that, hey, you defend, this will happen. But in this game, oh my gosh, if you do not know the layout of the keyboard, period, you're not gonna have a good time with this game. You are not.
I found the interaction of the game, like interacting with the menus and the items and the actions and all that. I found that kind of frustrating. Actually, it was kind of clunky, kind of janky, is how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's very RPG Maker.
But also, it's not at the same time. Like, so for example, like, you know, normally you can hit escape to go into the menu, but for some reason hitting escape doesn't open the menu, so I have to use the mouse and then click on the menu picture.
That's one of the main complaints I got too. Like, it's very inconsistent.
And the problem, this is the problem too. Go ahead, Harlequin.
It's like you, maybe I should actually start with the tutorials because I didn't get to say anything there. Like, the tutorials were pretty much like the problem with the tutorials. They're all just thrown at you at once, right? Like you start the game and you got tutorial. I mean, you kind of have to put like these noob tutorials in because there are people that just start out playing video games, right? So they pick up a random itch game that was free, but they never really played a game before. So you still gotta kind of explain the basics. It's just, it is what it is. But like, I feel that tutorials would have been better if the introduction didn't start you right inside of the city. Like, make a little extra section, like a course you gotta run through. Like, push the WASD button to move. All right, next thing, and then maybe tell us about like you can jump over obstacles, and then you move on. And then you find like a single zombie, and then you explain how the combat works, and then you kill that zombie, and then you move on, and you do that in order for the player to actually experience the tutorial. Like, let them do what you explain, and not just explain everything and expect him to like memorize everything at once, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So do a little obstacle course basically before you end up in the city. Maybe you get dropped off at a sewer entrance because the city is walled off or whatever, and you gotta navigate through the sewers as a tutorial, basically.
Yeah, and you have more situational purposes for the tutorials. Yeah.
As I always say, you show one thing, one mechanic of your game, and then you immediately let the player execute that mechanic immediately after explaining it. So it cements itself into the player's brain. And then you move on to the next mechanic and let them do that specific mechanic immediately afterwards. And then you build up on that. Yeah. Like the third tutorial is like, oh, you got a zombie over there, but you gotta, I don't know, climb the fucking ladder or whatever. You combine mechanics together and let them use them immediately in combination.
Yeah.
So the player can learn step by step on your system and learn how the game works, instead of just dumping everything at the player at the start of the game, because that obviously doesn't work. I watched the weapon wheel video. I watched that thing like 7 times. Because either it froze and didn't work, or it was too fast for me for the first couple of times. I couldn't read fast enough because it's it doesn't have enough contrast. Like, you got this moving map and the compass and the characters all on there, right? Like, the HUD is still there. You got the action bar, you got the weapon icon, you got the compass on there, and then suddenly a white text pops up and tells you what the fuck you're even looking at. and what you're supposed to do, while the video plays in the background of that text. So I needed to figure out what the fuck is even happening in the video.
Yeah. So
I took a long time learning the systems, because everything needs an extra button. I can see it, like the reference was like an MMORPG, which makes sense, right? You got a 1-2-0 bar on the bottom with all your fucking skills, and the inventory is usually like either the I button or the B button, and it makes sense, but it's so inconsistent because it's RPG Maker. You press I for the inventory, good enough. I can live with that, but then you cannot use like your arrow keys to navigate the menu. So you use your mouse, because that's the only thing that works in that window. But then again, you cannot drag and drop items around or drag them on your hotbar, because that doesn't work. You gotta hover over that icon of that item, and then push a number key to assign it to that slot. And that's really not intuitive. Like, usually what you would do in an MMORPG is like you use your mouse and drag and drop your item into the hotkey bar where you want it. Like, that's intuitive. That's like a one-hand input thing. But that's where the jank comes in this game. It doesn't work like that. You gotta push a lot of buttons and move your mouse at the same time, and it's really inconsistent across menus too. Like, you got the main menu is like either the U button, or you click on the phone icon with your mouse. But you cannot control the main menu with the mouse anymore. No, that doesn't work. So you gotta use the keyboard for that. And then you get a bunch of choices. Like when you go into the database, that's all of a sudden a choice menu that works with either keyboard or mouse. So it's really fucking inconsistent across the board.
It's clunky, yeah.
It's clunky and it's inconsistent, and
See, guys,
that makes gameplay so much worse.
See, guys, y'all not understanding. This is why I tell y'all need to play the game. Those who in the chat, because we appreciate new mechanics. Like, I really do. But when you switching between mouse and keyboard and stuff like that, and you telling me that this is the way to move, the whole game I did not use the WASD to move.
Yeah, it's not good to use the WASD either. Like, I was playing around a bit. Like, for the regular gameplay itself, having both hands on the keyboard works best. Like, you move around with the arrow keys, you use your skills with your left hand, and that's how it works best, right? Because it's like a twin stick, then you use both hands. But what doesn't work is when you open your inventory, you suddenly gotta use your mouse.
Yeah,
it's just so fucking inconsistent. It's a nuisance to use.
Yeah, and I got a wireless keyboard, so I gotta put the keyboard up, then grab the mouse, move that, then put the keyboard. Yeah. Especially if you got a desk full, you know what I mean? Like,
and imagine you're sitting on your couch, like with your more wireless keyboard in your lap, like you're leaning back, and now you want to use an item from your inventory, and now you gotta lean forward, you gotta get up, get to your mouse, just to use the inventory. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I was talking to the dev too. Like, I think if you could like make the whole scheme, the whole control scheme a lot simpler. We don't need 9 buttons to use skills and items. We don't need that shit. Like, make it maybe like League of Legends, right? You move the character with your mouse, and right click is attacking. Basic as fuck. Click on the enemy, your character goes there and attacks. And then you can use 1, 2, 3, 4 or QWER for skills. That's it. Not 1, 2, 10. Nobody needs that many buttons.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, me personally, I don't mind like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, having your items on standby and your skills. It's just you know, you don't even need the weapon wheel. I mean, it's convenient, but you don't need it. It's just an extra step.
The weapon wheel is one of the worst things in this game, in my opinion. Just give me a fucking button that swaps through all my weapons.
And it's, you know, your guns. Yeah, I'd rather have like a swap left and right.
Yeah,
you know, you can
like
use the
press
page
tab and you just cycle through your weapons. Tab, pistol, tab, MG, tab, knife, tab, whatever. Like the wheel, I don't know, you press E and then you gotta push a directional key, but when you do, all your character moves as well, and it's just all jank.
Yeah. And another thing, like, this game is big on targeting your enemies, right?
Oh yes.
You gotta hit the Q button to target them before you can even use a skill. Like let's say you could shoot them without targeting, but let's say you want to use the quick kill skill. You have to target. You have to target them then walk up to them and hit the target, the skill button.
Yeah,
I understand
yeah.
that. But if you're not used to the keyboard, you're going
Man, I'm used to the keyboard, and I'm not used to pressing Q all day long.
And
man.
this is a problem for those who's not used to the keyboard. It's going to be hard for them to enjoy the game because they're constantly looking at the keyboard and looking at the screen at the same time during a combat. And this is what I'm doing here.
Dude.
I'm fighting 3 guys and don't even know the layout, so I'm just tapping anything right now. You know what I mean? I didn't die, but that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm looking at the keyboard, looking at the screen, look at the keyboard, look at the screen, look at the keyboard, look at the screen. You know what I mean? Like, until I hide behind there, then they're not aggro anymore, and I was able to win.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I'm used to the keyboard, and I'm having the same problem.
I'm used to the keyboard as well, and it still was an issue. It was
Get good, D7. Wow. Bandito.
It's really like I really want to like this game because I like the developer. I like the art they make too. I do like the characters as well. Like, this could be like a fantastic game, I feel, but man, the input scheme, the controls of like the menus and everything is just so cumbersome, especially for an action game. Like, if you have a turn-based game or like a regular like RPG maker game, you're used to using the menu a lot, right? It's not, time is not of the essence. But it is an action game. I don't have time cycling through my fucking inventory, using the mouse, using the keyboard all at once. Like, I only got 2 hands, man, and I'm old. I can only have so many actions per minute, right? I'm fucking slow.
Yeah. I mean, me
and
personally,
all the meantime getting shot at. Like, how am I supposed to control this mess?
Maybe that's intentional. Maybe they want to simulate real life combat. Like,
I don't know, man. I told the same thing to Bird Punch, man. When I play a game, I want to fight the enemy and not your input scheme.
Nah, when we play that game, oh man, we're gonna have fun with that one. We're gonna have fun with that one.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't like the inputs in Starscribe a lot, but they make more sense. Like, I understand how they work. I'm just too fucking slow to do it, right? So I'm fighting the control scheme because it's too fast for me because I'm an old fuck. In this game, it's just cumbersome to use because it's so inconsistent and incoherent all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's a million fucking buttons you gotta memorize all the while fighting enemies and getting shot at.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Like,
it's just not. It's not good.
Yeah, you do.
Like, I would imagine if this was like Enter the Gungeon, where it's like just a fucking twin stick shooter. Like, one stick moves your character, the other stick shoots in any direction. That would be great in this game. Like, just a fucking twin stick shooter. You got like your shoulder button, swap your weapons, and your, I don't know, the X, Y, the 4 buttons. They use 4 different skills or whatever, and that's it. That's how simple it could be. But it's not. Like, in this game, you got to memorize all your keyboard buttons and then try to use that and the mouse at the same time.
Yeah. See, another thing with this project is they throw everything at you. I think this is the reason why they have those video tutorials, because the developer knows you're not going to remember all of this. So I'm gonna give them points for that. I'm gonna give them kudos for that. But my problem is, certain stuff is not explained. Like, certain skills, like we got the number 3 skill. I don't know what that is. You know what I mean?
It's a stun move.
It's a stun move, but you have to.
That's the thing. You gotta hover your mouse over the icon, and then it shows your description, which is inconsistent with the rest because most of the inputs are keyboard.
Yeah.
So you're swapping to the mouse again to read your fucking skill. It's inconsistent. It's not good.
Yeah. So a lot of these mechanics, guys, is basically how the battle system operate. And given the fact that this is a MMO, style RPG Maker game. It's not MMO because it's only one person, but the layout is like you're playing MMO. Like you got your weapon wheel, you can assign different skill slots, you can assign different weapon slots to your wheel by hitting up, down, left, right, you know. Then you have, you know, the quick key button, you know, hit F1, I mean not F1, 1, 2, 3, 4 to use your skills, of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to use your items like your healing. There's cooldowns, there's you know, NPCs who will join you in your fight, you know. But the problem is it's RPG Maker, and you know, once you put too much in your game, the question is, can the engine hold or perform at its best with all these different mechanics? Am I going to have an experience when there's more than 3 NPCs, enemies, who is shooting at you and you're shooting at them? Am I going to be able to experience that flawlessly without any lag? That's the issue.
There was quite a bit of lag on this game. There was, especially in the main map, the big map, outside map.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was getting like 15 frames a second or 20 frames a second.
I had to give this game 2 shots really, because the first time around I played, I had like 5 FPS.
It'll actually, you know, it'll actually. I mean, I don't know whether the lag comes on gradually, because if I actually save the game and then reload it, it's like kind of okay, and then it starts to lag again after a while.
Yeah,
so I
there's
don't really.
some memory leak. Like the dev told me, they still have like some form of memory leak at some certain points or something. I didn't notice it. Like I was running Task Manager, because a memory leak is usually in like the RAM, so you should see your RAM usage increasing over time, but it doesn't happen. So
It's
I'm
probably
not quite sure.
It's probably a plugin.
You know when
thing.
I noticed the issue?
It might be the lighting effects.
You know
Could
when I
be.
noticed the issue? The loading screen, like when you start the game and it shows that the logo. Oh my god, that gent dropped to 3 frames, and
I thought it was like a preloader or something, like it's loading something. But yeah, that screen with like the succubus shadow in the middle, like when the fade out happens, like that's like 2 FPS for some reason. I'm like, huh?
Yes,
What's going on?
It's not me. I thought it was me. But it's not
every
me.
time, and I was like, maybe it's a preloader, maybe it's preloading something, but that doesn't seem to be the case either.
You know these RPG Maker preloaders. I mean, sometimes they work. It depends on your game. Like this game, a lot of stuff is running at the same time. Like there's a lot of parallel.
Maybe they should use a preloader actually, because there's a lot of flickering in the sprites and the busts and everything. So it's definitely not preloaded anything. Maybe they should.
Then when you're in combat, you fighting a whole bunch of them. It's laggy. Like it's really laggy. And
I mean, it's weird in general. Like I had to close everything down. Like I had OBS running, because usually when I work on my game, I have OBS running in case like I need to do a recording for action sequences or whatever. So I had that open, I had RPG Maker open, and I had like Firefox open, and then I played the game, and I had like 5 FPS, and I was like, oh god, no. So I closed everything, absolutely fucking everything, except for Discord. And then it was a little better, but strangely enough, like even when I had everything open, the game doesn't take much. It's like 500 MBs of RAM or some shit, and like 30% CPU, and it still lagged like crazy. And I was like, huh?
When I was streaming, when I was recording, OBS was at the CPU was at 0.1. Like it's not using a lot of resources, but at the same time, I think it could be a lot of parallel stuff going on where it just overrides stuff. Even through the scene, the lag spike is.
I think it's
ridiculous. Like even when I beat the game last night, I didn't even get the ending because it crashed. It went to 2 frames and it stood there. Like I waited 5 minutes for something to happen, nothing happened.
And also too in some of those stealth scenes where then when like all the soldiers come running out at once, if like you're caught. Yeah, well, what happened was I actually was fighting them and like I defeated one of them, and then the screen just went black and then stayed black, and then like I saved it on a second slot to see if like to see if like if I loaded again it would work, but then I loaded it again and it was black. So that's when I ended up stopping.
What happened?
I'm thinking it could be the pathfinding, because it's an action game, right? They use some form of automatic pathfinding. Obviously, it's not a fixed movement around. And from what I know, pathfinding in RPG Maker is really taxing.
See, what happened in this game, I think the problem is it's the scene transitioning. Because when you get caught, this probably what happened with you, Cychronic. When you got caught, it says there's a screen transition, and it's like the enemies they just come running from everywhere. It'd be like 7 enemies. And so when that happens, the frames drop a lot, and it probably didn't load properly for you because it's calling all these events that these enemies are running at you, and there's nothing you can do except die. Like, you literally gotta wait until they kill you, because one, you can't escape out of battle. When you're in battle, you can't escape. You're stuck there until they kill you, and it's already janky. It's already janky because they're hitting you, they're missing, and all that stuff. You trying to shoot them, you taking off 0, then you gotta wait. Like this part right here, I died so many times because
so you cannot actually win if you get caught.
If you get caught, you cannot win because the only way to kill those red enemies, if you have like an RPG or missile launcher. Those are the only way you could damage them, and at this time you don't even have the gun. And the problem with this game, the problem with this game is, the stealth system, you get caught even you're not even in the line of sight. You'll get caught. Then you gotta wait until they kill you, then start over. So the best way to go about playing this game is save as you go. Save as you go. That's the only way you're gonna be successful playing this game. And even sometimes it's jank. It's jank, like right here. You know what I mean? I'm caught and everything, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's been times where I got caught, nothing happened, the enemy won't even engage you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bugs in this game still too.
Yeah. Because
I had big problems with like the videos. They would always freeze on me, and then you gotta wait because in the background it somehow still plays. So if you wait until the video is done, the game returns to its normal state. But like every second time, the fucking videos would just freeze, and I'm sitting there waiting. And like there's a whole bunch of tileset issues too. Like you can just walk through some shelves and whatnot, and there's a whole lot of jank left in there. And I don't know, man. RPG Maker is really just not made for action games. It's like you can make it work if you know how to code. Like I know a couple of people who make their own like hitboxes and everything, but unless you can do it yourself or you can pay a lot of money for someone to do it for you, just don't make an action game in RPG Maker, man. It just doesn't work.
And I can agree. I could agree. Some games got it right, but just like we were speaking about in the chat, some games, the engine is catered to a certain style of game, and that's the random encounters, and stuff like that.
And I would have loved this game if it had turn-based, to be honest. Like some sick action sequences with like some guns and shit like that.
Yeah,
Why not?
That'd been dope, but that
would have been cool. Like fuck the stealth segments and then fuck the action system. Like just give me a on-map encounter turn-based system, sick action sequences, maybe some like like Trailblazer does with like there's some skills that give you cover and shit. Why not that? But like the devs said they wanted to make like a game like this with an action system. I mean, yeah, you can try, but it's not the right engine. It's just not.
Yeah. And but I can say though, the game is cleverly done. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the game.
Yeah.
I like exploring, like finding the items. Combat give you a rush. I dig the game. Like, I really enjoyed the game. But at the same time, I prefer it to be on the controller. You can definitely make it work because Neverwinter, works. Skyrim works. Those MMO that's being ported to console, they work. You just use the right trigger, hold the right trigger, and hit triangle, circle, X, or cross.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, you hold the left trigger to do the other skill. It definitely work. But given the fact,
doesn't an RPG Maker.
Given the fact that it is RPG Maker,
I mean, it can still work. Like, what was that other game from Chris?
Oh yeah,
they had
Empire
custom
Chronicles.
button inputs.
Yeah,
they had custom buttons, and you could still bind them to the controller just as you wanted it to. So it definitely does work.
If you don't got that plugin, you're screwed.
Yeah, you need to edit the plugins, of course. Like, if you're not able to edit the Yanfly keyboard or controller input to suit your needs, then you can't do it. You gotta hire somebody to do it for you, or you just can't make a game like that. That's just how it is.
See, that's the thing, Bandy. Though, a lot of people don't have the luxury of going to another engine. You know what I mean? Because of the lack of coding abilities.
Yeah, that's why most of us use RPG Maker in the first place. And I mean, it's not as limiting as people make it out to be. You can definitely make an action game work in RPG Maker. But it requires coding. There's no way around it. Either hire somebody or learn it yourself, but without it, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Or there's a potential mix of plugins you can use if you can figure that out.
Yeah, but even then, you probably need to do some coding to patchwork them together.
Yeah, of course.
Like, there's no way around it. You will have to do some kind of coding in order to make it work. There's no free Yanfly plugin out there that gives you like actual hitboxes or pixel movement. I mean, pixel movement, there is a plugin, but it doesn't have any hitboxes either, so you gotta either combine plugins together, which requires some level of coding knowledge, or you gotta hire somebody, or you gotta write it yourself. Mm-hmm. An action game is not gonna happen in RPG Maker otherwise. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
Like every action game D7 had played on his channel, they were all shit. Because it's always jank. It's always fucking jank.
Oh man.
You can't have an action game without hitboxes. It's jank. You have a tile-based movement system. That means you need to line up with the fucking enemy and then push a button to get a map projectile going. It's fucking jank.
Silver Game is on one today, y'all. He is on one today. I'm telling you. I mean, it's RPG Maker, guy. Like I always say, it's RPG Maker. You can make any game that you want.
Man, fuck that, man. If you want an action game relies on that freedom of movement and it relies on that hitboxes. It doesn't work without it. You don't even have 8 directionals in this game. It's just 4 directionals. How is that an action system?
Because you have to be lined up on the grid.
Yeah, you gotta be fucking lined up on the grid. Like, just give me a turn-based system at that point.
I mean, me personally think turn-based would have been better. It would have been faster. You can keep the on. I mean, you can still have your stealth missions without the getting in the battle. You know, you
Absolutely. Like making the stealth is not too hard.
walk behind them, hit the enter key to kill them, do a quick kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was scenes where you hit the enter key to grab the soldier and pull him in the box and kill him. So you could definitely do it. I don't mind. Matter of fact, that one game that zombie apocalypse game, it was just like this. It had guns, it had everything. It sort of looked like this, but it was turn-based, and it worked perfect. It worked perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine if they just get rid of all that action shit they got going and all the custom incohesive menuing they got going, like this would perform perfectly fine at like 120 FPS, no problem at all. Because all that extra shit doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Like just make a nice, I don't know, military looking like window skin. You can have these custom HUD elements. You can show off your cool art in a turn-based system.
Exactly.
You can have cut-ins and sick animations and action sequences and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an action game to do that. Like you can make a phone-based main menu. That's nothing new. You can make that happen without lag. But yeah, it just had to be an action game, I guess, and it performs bad and it works. It works somewhat, but it's jank.
That's how they envision it, and sometimes that's, you know, they create it to the best of their ability.
Exactly.
I think
was
that's the
asking
reason
them like why they did it like that, and they said they wanted it like that. They wanted the MMORPG layout with the 10 buttons and with like a backstep key where you move one step backwards without turning around and shit like that. They wanted all that in there, and they got it in there. It's not like it doesn't work. It's just very cumbersome to use.
Yeah, and especially learning the controls. I mean, that's one thing. You know, you got to learn the controls. You got to get used to it. You know, that's definitely not a problem. But, you know, you're going to have people with preferences. You know what I mean? And I feel like you need to cater to all preferences. Like you like your WASD movement. I think, you know, as a developer, you got to think, what if my people only use keyboards? And what if my people only use controllers? You got to have that.
It depends for me. Like, I would say yes, try to cater to everybody if you can. But then again, like, I'm also playing Dark Souls, and everybody can agree that playing Dark Souls on a keyboard fucking sucks. It just does. It just fucking sucks.
Exactly.
So,
but
you can't always cater.
I seen somebody play Dark Souls. I mean, Dark Souls on the keyboard, and it was freaking beast.
Yeah, I finished Dark Souls 2 on a keyboard because I didn't have a controller back then, but it still sucks.
And Mega Man.
It just sucks to use. It's cumbersome, and it's not intuitive. That's just how it is. But you can't fix it. It's just the keyboard is just not really a good input type for a Dark Souls game. That's just how it is. Yeah. So this game on a controller would probably work much better too.
I think it would.
I think so too.
Because the controller will eliminate the use for the mouse and the keyboard.
Absolutely.
Where in this game you're alternating like
exactly.
You hit the I button to see your inventory. Then you got to use the mouse to hover over the inventory.
And then use the keyboard to assign it.
Then you need two hands to even use the keyboard.
Yeah.
Because you need to walk around, you gotta hold the shift button in case you need to fire on somebody.
It's not good. But you cannot always cater. Like some games, it just doesn't work like that. Like, yeah, you can play Dark Souls on a keyboard, but it fucking sucks. That's just how it is. So in this game, it would be the same thing. Like you can play on a keyboard, but it fucking sucks. Use a controller instead, but it doesn't have controller support.
Exactly. So overall, guys, the combat system can be complicated or could be simplified depending on your experience with a keyboard. If you're not used to a keyboard, you're going to struggle a bit, but you're eventually going to conquer, and you're going to get better, and you're going to know the layouts better. It's just going to take a little bit while longer. The game going to be a little bit more difficult in that way, because you're constantly going back and forth, making sure you're hitting the right keys. If you don't know the layout, you're supposed to hit Q, but you're hitting W at the same time, or you're hitting 1 and you're using abilities because you don't know where the Q is at. And another thing, you know, I'm not going to say anything, you know, it's a bad game, because it's not. It's actually, you know, really clever game. It's just like with some games have its weak points, and I think this game weak point mostly lies in the control scheme and how everything is delivered, because you know, what they're trying to replicate a MMO style game, but as an ARPG, you know, and not like a true MMO where you just rely on mostly the keyboard without having to switch back and forth with the mouse and keyboard. Now, I can understand some games, like if it's like a 3D world, and if you're using the Unity engine and you got nothing but 3D world and whatnot, you may use the mouse to point your character in a certain direction, or maybe look around and stuff like that. But still, exactly. most of those games, you can control your inventory with the keyboard without having to grab the mouse, and still be able to exit in and out. In this game, you can't exit. You just hit the I key again, or the U key again, you know, or the E key again to get out the menu. So they definitely got that right. It's just the control, like the main control, you have to keep switching back and forth. So I
don't know. I feel like the game is being dragged down by its combat system too. Like, it's I don't think this combat system is good. It just feels jank. Like, it's supposed to be action, but it's not really action because it's fucking slow, and you gotta line up on the same row of tiles and everything. It doesn't feel like an action game to me. It just feels jank.
Okay.
To me, this game would be much better if they could implement an actual like twin stick shooter system, which obviously is not gonna happen in RPG Maker, or just make it turn-based. Like, there's nothing wrong with turn-based. It's like, I'm not the biggest fan of turn-based either, but you can make it look nice. Yeah. You can have your guns and your action and whatnot in a turn-based system.
Yeah. So, Kyle, we ain't hear from you in like 40 minutes.
20 minutes.
So, what do you like? How do you summarize? What can the developer do to probably make the combat system more favorable in your taste, and maybe other?
I would prefer a turn-based system myself. I don't know. There are some action games I like, but it's not a preference. I also think that this engine doesn't. You know, the battle system feels janky to me. I think if you did it as a turn-based, you could do a lot more in those battles, and you could do more animations. You could do more. You could have a more detailed version of the main character, because you know the sprites on the map here, they have that chibi look, which for some reason, I mean, it just is, for me, it's off-putting. I do like the concept of the game. I do think that it could be a good game. But I think that it's got a lot of janky issues to fix, and I mean, it's like the menus, like the lag. There's, you know, it's all been discussed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just agreeing with what you guys are saying. That's not why I'm not like.
Yeah.
The mapping too, though. Like, they have really clever ideas in this game. Like, I really like what they think about, but the implementation just sucks. Like, they have this, like, the one room where you trying to rescue that captain guy that gets eaten and turned into a zombie. That has like this semi-transparent wall.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's cool, right? I mean, it's not transparent enough for me, so it still kind of gets in the way. But then there's these boxes and everything which are supposed to be like in the foreground, like when you, like in the video from Solar's Nightmare, where they have the parallax pipes and everything.
Uh-huh.
That's what those boxes are supposed to be. They're supposed to be like in the foreground, like above the player.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't look like that. It just looks like they're lying on the ground and you just walk through them. It just looks jank.
Oh wow.
It's not conveying the effect of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in the maps too. Like a lot of these maps have like these tiling issues, passability issues, and stuff that's like supposed to look like being in the foreground doesn't look like it.
Also, I didn't like that you couldn't go to the next room if you were in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, you can't.
And sometimes there wasn't even anybody near you. Sometimes there wasn't even.
Yeah, you're in battle as soon as you hit like the slash key. As soon as you attack, you're in battle for a moment. It's a little annoying when you like remove like the wooden bars and whatnot to open the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't immediately go to the next map because it tells you it's in combat. I know why they did it. I mean, it would suck if you could just escape out of the room in the middle of combat and then come back.
And here's another thing that I've noticed. If you don't have... The game is telling you is teaching you to do a quick kill, right? A stealth kill.
Yeah.
But it takes FP points, also known as, TP in this game, or magic points.
I was struggling at first to even know that mechanic.
If you don't have anything, let's say you use all your stuff, you don't have anything, and that's where I realized where I was screwing up at, because you're taught this, it don't say anything like beware of, make sure your TP, your FP points is full, because I'm trying to stealth kill and I'm like, man, why it ain't working? And turning out that it's using my FP points and I'm low, and that's why I can't do it. And when I realized that, it became easier, because now I'm making sure I'm not running out of the stealth points. Well, the FP points, whatever you call it. So, I mean, but
I was some too. Like I was running around using my skills, and all of a sudden it just kept telling me I can't use it.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? Yeah, but why can't I use it?
Yeah. So
it took me a moment to realize you have like an MP bar.
Exactly. And hitting the enemy from behind does the same damn. Well, it could one shot kill them too, but you just got to hit them from behind without using that stealth skill.
Oh, but just a critical hit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't get to the stealth section, and probably for the best, because I fucking hate stealth sections, man. If they catch you, why are there even guys spawning? Like, if you cannot win, if you can't kill them,
yeah,
why go through why jump through all these hoops? Why do I have to stand there waiting for me to get killed? Just give me a game over and start me over.
Yeah, I was about
There's
to say
no reason
that too.
for all these extra guys to spawn.
I was about to say that too. Yeah, when you get caught, just show a sequence of her getting probably shot. Without having them. Yeah, without having them. We can't kill them.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you can kill them and you can still escape, then cool. But if you can't, there's no reason to.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
100.
But yeah, I just thought that it was a little awkward, like, because sometimes running away, sometimes retreat is the most logical option. So it's like, I'll get out of here. Oh no, you're not allowed to leave the room.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes no sense. You can't kill them. You can't hide anymore. You can't run out of the building and hide and try again. You're basically forcing a game over. But why are you not just giving us a game over in the first place then?
Exactly. So, I mean, overall, the combat is clever. Could have been done better.
Yeah, man. I was really bummed out, man. I was looking forward to this game, like really, and I don't know, man. It's like they have so many cool ideas
It got a big.
and so many
It has big hype
clever
though.
ideas to like. I'm surprised that they could even make it work how it works. Like it's impressive, but it's just not nice to play. Like it's cumbersome to play. It lags most of the time. Like I can't play this game at a constant frame rate. It just doesn't work. Even if I close everything on my PC except for the game, it's still lagging.
Hey, look, but
And I can't do anything about it.
one thing, a lot of people, especially for the beta
Yeah,
server,
look at you standing there getting slowly shot and
I told you, the people, and they missing too.
and they're missing a lot too, like miss.
The people from the beta server praise this game. They love it. Like a lot of people love it because it's different. I think
It's very different. It looks cool. I don't know, man. I really wanted to like this game. I was hyped for this. I was like, man, cool. I'm gonna try out MechGears. And I saw you playing it the first time around. It seemed different
Yeah.
from what it is now. I don't know, man.
actually had
The
fun with
dev
it.
told me they actually had turn-based system at first.
When I played it, it wasn't turn-based, to be honest. It was just
Yeah,
like,
before that, like when they started this project, it was turn-based actually. And I was like, wow, why did you remove it, man? Because they thought it's just another turn-based game. And like
they could have had this a turn-based with a row system. You know, like a grid system, like most tactic games are.
I mean, I don't know about a grid system. I don't know how many party members there are, but for a single actor, there doesn't need to be a grid system, really.
I'm just
I feel
saying,
like-
because you can have.
But there's a
party
lot of
members.
things. They could have done a lot of things with a turn-based system, and it would remove all the lag because you don't need all that extra menu shit and everything. You don't need the pathfinding because every enemy in this game needs to have pathfinding because how else are they gonna follow you automatically, right?
And
So-
another thing, when you recruit those 2 soldiers, they help you fight, right?
Oh
It
yeah,
is-
that was a weird AI too. Like they
it
just
is-
randomly shooting everywhere.
Yeah.
That was weird.
And they don't they get locked in place. They don't follow you, like you trying to get them to safety. They still, so you just leave them where they at. Leave them
I
where they
just
at,
left them there. Yeah, exactly.
and just go.
That guy was
bye-bye.
just running around randomly, shooting randomly at nothing, and I was like, "Huh? What's this guy
Exactly.
doing?"
But
Oh man, I don't know, man. For me, like if this was, they can still keep the stealth elements. You can make a stealth game without an action system. That works perfectly fine.
my
So
problem,
if this was turn-based, man, some cool action sequences in there, some cool
Yeah.
gun shooting skills and
That's
whatnot,
some-
maybe a reload system in there. Sure, give me that. Like,
it ain't gonna
but
happen.
the way it is right now,
It-
man, I don't know.
They too far in. They too far in to just scrap everything. Like
Could
this.
be, man, but I don't know, man.
They're
I
just too
scrap a lot
far
of
in.
things.
They're too far in, and I gotta respect them. Like you could definitely see the hard work they put into this game.
Yeah, I told
know
him
what I
too.
mean?
Like I told him straight up, I don't even want to imagine the amount of work they had to do to get this part.
Exactly.
I don't even want to imagine, but like, it is it really worth keeping though?
I mean,
That's the thing. Like,
can't.
it's jank.
I could see it work though. I could see it work. I can see it work.
I don't see it ever working like fluently and not so cumbersome. I don't think you can fix the jank
when I
here.
mean see work, I mean like you could still have player engagement and enjoyment with this game.
Yeah, of course, that's true, but it's not gonna be the best game it could be.
Yeah,
That-
that I do agree,
point I
because this can definitely, the way that it's made, it could definitely go a commercial route, but not in this state. I don't think.
Yeah,
it'll do.
it's-
It'll do the
Like,
numbers
it's
that it
it's
deserves.
impressive. I'm sure it was like countless hours of work too, but in my opinion, it's not worth keeping because I don't see how this system will ever not lag or will ever be coherent in its like key bindings and everything. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't see how you would even begin to fix it. So
Yeah.
me personally, I would just fucking scrap it because it's not good.
Nah, I can't. I I can't.
I would do it because that's just what I scrap a load of things. Like fuck it, if it's not worth it, it's not worth it.
Cychronic, will you scrap this game or will you keep working on it?
Don't scrap the game.
I wouldn't scrap the game, but I would replace the action
This
system
dude
with a turn-based system.
Harlequin says scrap the game. Oh.
No, I'm not saying scrap the game. Scrap the action system.
Oh, okay.
This game doesn't need it. Like, make it turn-based. Scrap the entire fucking action system and the hotkeys for the skills and everything and the custom menus they got. Like, you don't need that.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be that. It could be better if it was turn-based. That's me saying it.
You could do it as a tactics system too. That would be
or a tactics system or anything.
Tactics
there's
system
a million options for that, and you can make custom menus that don't lag. So I don't know what exactly is so taxing in this game, but something is.
Oh man!
I mean, I don't know. It's
not worth
it.
The last time I said scrap the game with that one game we played, they got upset. Like. They got upset. They got upset with me. Other people got upset with me. Like, really, bro? Really? I just said.
What game was that?
That one with the girlfriend defended them. You remember?
The smallest RPG in the world.
Yeah. Smallest world RPG, and they done took it from itch.io. Look, like I always say, guys. Like I always tell you, and everyone, those who are tuning in and will watch this VOD, our ideas and opinions does not necessarily make or break your game. We're just individuals who like RPGs, happen to know and make games with RPG Maker. We just give you our opinion. If you take it the wrong way, that's on you. That's on you because you interpret that we're talking bad about your game, but we're just stating facts and opinions about your game. At the end of the day,
we're not like some master RPG maker minds. We're no kind of RPG maker authority or anything.
Exactly. We're three guys. Now, if you got 20 people writing reviews, say, man, I wish it was turn-based. 20 people saying that. Then maybe you need to take action because you got a lot of people saying they don't like the combat system. You know what I mean?
Maybe and maybe not. Like,
maybe
20
not.
People can still be wrong. Like, it's your game at the end of the day. If you think that's fine, I guess it's fine.
20 out of 20 reviews, everybody saying that. I think you need to take that into consideration.
It depends. Like,
it's
your game. It's your vision. Yeah. If this is your vision of your game, you can still keep it, even if everybody in the entire fucking world hates it. It's your game.
Yeah, and you are 100%. You are 100% correct about that. Not debating that. That's why I said it's up to the developer, and it's their interpretation on how they receive this knowledge. So this developer, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened. They definitely was very active at one point in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm still chatting with them. Like, they also wanted to watch what they do in chores at the moment and stuff like that. So they're gonna watch the VOD, of course.
Real life stuff happen. We understand that. So we don't want people to like, oh man, RTP don't know what they talking about, or like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the game. It just was a little bit different for me because I'm not used to keyboard. I'm just being 100%. I wish this game was on controller. I would probably had a better time, enjoyed it a little bit more. But overall, I did like the game. Not gonna say the game sucked because it didn't. I like a lot of mechanics. I like the looting system. The weapon upgrade. Yeah. You had a lot of mechanics and features that can definitely make a great quality game. It's just some aspects where stuff is janky sometimes. It just sometimes it's janky. You know what I mean? It
It's
is
just
what it is.
it's the how it controls and the combat system itself. Like that's the only two things. Like I like
And
the
the
characters.
menu.
I like the overall like style of it. I like the custom menus, but how it controls is awful. And the combat system, I don't know, man. It's just not doing it for me. It's not an action game really, because if it was, I could move around freely and could shoot in any direction I fucking wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I gotta stand next to the enemy and let them hit me because otherwise I can't hit them and stuff like. It's not an action game. It's just not.
Yeah.
And like these two things, like the general controls of everything and the combat system, these two things were to change. Like I said, a turn-based system, maybe a strategic system, even who the fuck knows, there's a million options for you to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
And like get the menus to work better. Like you can have like a cell phone main menu. It's not the first time I'm seeing that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing new. You can do that perfectly fine with regular controls that work with a controller as well. So, and maybe that would even fix the lagging too. Who knows? I don't know if it's the menus that make the lag or if it's the pathfinding that makes the lag or whatever.
Yeah.
But like these two main points, if I don't know, the game could be a lot better because I was really bummed out by this performance because I really wanted to like this game.
Okay, that goes a lot from simple gaming. You know who feels
And I don't even like turn-based games. I mean, and I'm saying make it turn-based.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. And I was hyped for this, man. I was in the Discord even. I was like, we're playing MechGears. Have fuck yeah. Because I saw it on your first stream and I was like, oh, that looks cool. That has some cool ideas in there and whatnot. So I really wanted to play and enjoy it, but I couldn't. So I was really bummed out by this.
Oh man, it's still a worthy game to try, guys. We definitely encourage you guys to download the game. Nerd Mansion, stream the game. Tell us your thoughts. You know,
absolutely,
those
man.
other
Like,
streamers out there, definitely give it some thoughts. I'm not sure if Drifty or Studio Blue played this game, but I will be checking out their pages to see if they played it and see what their reaction is. You know,
probably not, but like
I just want to see. I just want to see because I don't want.
You can tell like this game has a lot of thought went into it and a lot of work that went into it.
Yeah,
and that makes it even worse. I feel like if this was like some jank ass fucking game somebody made over the weekend, then nobody gives a shit, right? But you can tell there's effort in there, and it's sad to see that it's getting so dragged down by the fucking jank.
Yeah, Nerd Boy, definitely check it out. Yeah. So, overall, the story, mainly the MC, everything else was fine, but mainly the MC is really, couldn't really tell how serious she was, and she tried to speak everyday lingo with the abbreviation like LOL, AF, or WTF. They literally typed that in there, so. And another thing,
there's a little inconsistencies in the writing,
you know, I like the looting system. I like the maps were done really well, like the lighting and, you know, the flashlight mechanics. You know, you're the dark, there's zombies looking around. Definitely add, you know, some suspense moments here and there. You know, some zombies eating, you know, tearing people's guts out. I mean, that was really cool. Then fighting the humans and the music.
Game over screen was cool too, to be honest. Like I did like the little animation and the voice. Like, where's my backup?
Exactly. Then the music is pretty well, you know, well picked. A lot of custom stuff. Some I heard before, especially from Psychronic's game. You know, and this is why, guys, I be telling you. Sometimes when you hear a song for the first time, you kind of affiliate that song with that particular game. And some of the music in this game, well, one of the music I heard it for the first time on Psychronic's game, and he always streamed on his stream, he plays that music. So whenever you hear that song, you think about that particular game. So there was many times where I was thinking about Starshift while playing this game, even though they're two separate, genres of games. You know what I mean? Well, they're both RPGs, but one is turn-based, the other one isn't. One is sci-fi, the other one isn't sci-fi. So
the track was Alexander Zelenov, Iron Wasteland.
Yeah, we don't want to get dots or banned or copyright strike like some other people like to put on others. Not saying no names, but those know who it is. We know what they're talking about. So
the copyright stuff gets annoying sometimes.
So all right, guys, we come to the point where we put a price on this thing. I don't think they're going commercial, but
no, they're
not going commercial, but we're going to pretend it is commercial anyways. So if this game was on Steam and you saw it for a minimum price of what US dollars, we're going to say US dollars because that is the best currency in the world and more widely used. We're going to say USD. How much will you pay for this game to be a satisfied customer?
Well, for me, I would probably pay $0.
What?
I think it could be better, but I think right now in the current state that it's in, it would be $0. Yeah.
Cychronic Game says $0. Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow. This guy. Wow. Cychronic Games says $0. Okay. All right. The resident German. How much euros or ruples, whatever money y'all use? Pounds,
you do realize that euros are worth more than dollars?
I don't care. We talking about American US dollars here.
Let's fix the exchange rate to 1 to 1.
Yeah,
because it's pretty close.
If it's 1 to 1, the best money in the world, the best color.
If I played more, I could probably even get used to the janky controls.
We asked you that, sir. We asked you how much will you price this game.
When I would probably pay $20 for it, but I would refund it because it lags for me. I can't really play it because of the performance on my PC, at least.
So what price are okay? So it was $20. It was perfect. But
that's why I said I could probably get used to the control scheme, so I would pay $20. But it also lags on my PC, and so I would still end up refunding it because I can't play a laggy game, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, I think this could be worth $20.
Hold on, Ryan. See, how am I being the savage and I'm not the one refunding or saying $0? That's crazy. So Harlequin would pay $20 for this game.
Yeah, I really like the art. I really like the ideas of this game. And I could probably get used to the controls. If you play it enough, at one point you're not gonna notice it anymore.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't lagging for me like it did, I would pay $20 for this.
All right.
So maybe my PC is just old. I don't fucking know.
It does have
requirements. So
it does have lag. My PC is really fast, so it was playable even through the lag. But it was lagging. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, aside from the lag, I would have refunded if it would be lagging, but I would buy this for $20.
Okay, and for me, if I were to pay for this game based on the style and the art that we get and the gameplay, I pay $9.99 for this. Even $10. I will pay $10 for this game. The reason why the art is cool and stuff, but I'm not buying the game for the art. me personally. I don't buy games for art. I buy games for gameplay and stuff like that. And I feel like, you know, for the game to look like this, like mostly, I mean, it's custom sprites, like custom outfits and stuff like. I haven't seen these type of clothing with the sprites and stuff like that.
But it's still in the basic RPG Maker.
Yeah, the
it's RTP
chibi,
style, and the tile set is mostly RTP.
Yeah, but you could definitely see the hard work that's being put in this game. So $10 it's a fair price. It's fair price from me. So divided by 3, so it comes to an average of $10. So $10,
I can see
$10.
that. Like 20 full price. I would probably wait for a sale anyway because nobody pays full price anyway. So
in this game, I think if this game did go commercial, I think it would do great. It would.
I think it performs too bad for that.
I don't know, bro. You got some people will.
Nah, man. People would be refunding left and right if it was lagging like that.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I don't know. If
Nobody plays a laggy game, man. Nobody likes that. FPS drops are
what
the
do you
worst
mean?
thing in the game.
I play Origins. I play Isekai.
Origins don't lag at all.
I play Rebellion. I play Legacy. I played.
I don't think you played Rebellion yet.
Yeah, and you didn't pay for any of them either.
I played Epic Wings. I played Leyline Chronicles 2. I played the Final Fantasy game. I played Trials of Kokoro, Trials of Guinevere. I played Princess. Don't Need to Be Saved. Man, what else game I played that had lots of lag? I played only one that don't got lag is my game. That's the only one that don't have any lag.
And you didn't pay for any of them either, so you couldn't even refund them if you wanted to.
I paid for Trials of Kokoro. Nah, Trials of Guinevere, I paid for that. I paid for your game, Teats Escape. I paid for a lot of RPG.
None of them lagged, and none of them
lag, crash and everything. You be like, oh man, what happened? I can't replicate the crash. I'm trying to figure it out. It gotta be a janky internet.
And I fucking fixed it.
That's what you said. That's what you said. I don't have proof of that.
You have proof. You fucking 100% Tiki's this game with no crashes. What you talking about?
After luck. After a whole bunch of luck. You know what I mean? And prayer. Prayer did it. Prayer led us home. That's what happened. Prayer.
You can keep telling yourself that.
So guys, I ask you guys, definitely support the developer, definitely download the game and stuff like that. Give them your feedback because your feedback definitely means a lot. And we did ask a poll. I did, the standard poll. How do you rate this game? We had 11 votes. 27% says top tier, 45% says mid tier, and 27% says low tier, and 0% says garbage. So I definitely agree with this poll this time. I do feel like the game is mid tier, even though I didn't vote on it. I do feel like it's a mid tier game. If it was top tier, we'll probably have like better looking sprites, maybe a more fluid combat system without the lag and the crashes and stuff like that. Top tier, you're expecting to pay bit bucks for a game and get the utmost best performance that you can get. So I definitely agree with the poll this time. Sometimes
absolutely. Like the game is mid tier despite all the jank and all the lag, and that said something.
Which is good. That's definitely indie level. That's definitely good indie level. Where $9.99, most games that are like $5.99 and $9.99 fall in that price range for mid tier indie games. The top tiers, you're looking at the beautiful looking games like I hate to say it, but Origins plays like a top tier game, and Charles Cascadia plays like a top tier game, and even not graphical wise, but Soul Survivor plays is top tier.
Oh man, is so fucking
Trailblazer
good,
plays
man.
is top tier. You know, those games you could definitely enjoy and like, you know, and just ride through it. You know what I mean?
It's like
But
the whole package is like a whole thing. Like it's cohesive. It works flawlessly. It doesn't lag. The systems make sense, right? You can get right into the game and you understand what's happening. Like the whole package is good.
oh yeah, and guys, definitely tell people about RTP podcast, because maybe if we hit 100 subscribers, we may do a giveaway. So we may do a giveaway on your boy D7 Dispense. So if you have anything in your mind that it could be a game or anything that could probably help your project within the budget, of course, of $5, we may do a giveaway. So let people know.
Budget, you bitches.
Hey,
Ain't no one got no money.
we are a non-profit organization where we do not get any proceeds. We are accepting all types of donations. So I'm just letting you guys know. Yeah, 100 subscribers is a milestone. So maybe we may do a giveaway. You know, if any of you developers want to donate some keys, maybe RTP could show appreciation by, you know, maybe doing your game for you. You know what I mean? So maybe you could skip the wheel spin. So another thing about the wheel, we will be spinning the wheel every other week. So since we played a community game last week, we will not be spinning the wheel this week, because I believe it's Harlequin's turn to pick the game. So next week we will be playing the game of his choice, and after that stream we will be spinning the wheel for the next community game. Then it's up to Cychronic. Then, you know, we just keep going in that route. So letting you guys know that, you know, we haven't forgot about y'all. So, and another thing, if your game is chosen on the wheel and you be like, D7, I don't want you to play my game no more because I don't think it's ready. You know what I mean? Because you may be nervous about being roasted by RTP, which we don't roast people. You know what I mean? We just disagree on some certain, you know, stuff in the game. We just may disagree. But you have to put that specific game you want us to play in the wheel. If it's not, I mean, in the forum. If it's not in the forums, you cannot change your mind at the last minute. Once that game is in the forum, you can either let us know to take it away. That way I could take it off the wheel. Or put that game you want us to play in the forums. So for instance, if you win and you be like, can you play this game instead? No, you're disqualified and we're going to spin the wheel again. Sorry to be like that, but it show fairness to others. It won't be fair to everybody else, and we try to keep things fair. So, alright guys, before we head out, definitely I invite you guys to the RTP Discord, where you can actually put in the request. That's the only way we are doing requests. If you join the Discord and you put it in yourself, somebody has to put it in there for you. It don't necessarily has to be yourself. You know, somebody in the Discord can recommend you, but it's always encouraging that you do join the Discord and talk with us and, you know, mingle and stuff like that.
And we are helping each other out with each other's games and stuff. So
exactly,
like, we have different things that we're helping with. Like like, you know, I have a bunch of free music links. I'm also going to write a localization guide. So if you're trying to localize your game into other languages, how you do it in a smooth way, you know, and I'll write a guide for that. And then other developers too have been helping with like plugins and other stuff like that too. So it's useful, it's helpful, and it's useful to join, even if it's not just about, you know, letting us play your game. There's more to it than that as well.
Yeah, so. and it's a learning process too, because we have certain members who don't really know what to use and what certain things they can put in their game. You know what I mean? And especially map. We help people with their mapping. We help people with the plugin choice. We help people with dialogue. We got Jeff in the Discord who gives great writing critiques, you know, with games. And we got several heavy hitters like the Real Tron and Harlequin and everybody else, you know, that contributes and, you know, who are great game creators and makers and definitely contribute. We definitely want others to know about us. This is definitely a great community where we could have something where we could keep refreshing the RPG Maker community with new content and great games and stuff. So we definitely need you guys support, not monetarily, but just mental support.
Participate.
Yeah, participate. Exactly. We need y'all. Without y'all, we would not exist. We just be speaking to ourselves, doing what we love, and looking crazy. Wife may come in and say, "Y'all okay?" Yeah, there's nobody but y'all up there. Why y'all talking to yourself? So we don't want that. We gotta show our wives that we're not wasting our time with these projects and stuff like that. So before I head out, anything my co-host wants to say before we dip?
I don't think so.
No, I'm good, man.
You already did it all.
I did it all, like always. I did it all, guys. So sometimes you gotta hold. Sometimes you gotta make sure your brothers are doing good, and make sure that you are there to help them out when they need helping. So until next time, guys, y'all have a good one. We had 71 subscribers. Nice. So we definitely got 2 extra subscribers during this. Whoever subscribed, appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate you. And definitely check out these links. You can subscribe to our channels and to the Discord. So I guess we'll see you next week where we will meet again. All right, guys. Peace out. Stay safe and see you later.